Howdy partners, and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning or here from viewing another video, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for sticking around. Today I have for you 7 ways to cure the travel bug during COVID-19. Right, I think that we all know that folks who like to go places and do things might be particularly hard hit by being stuck inside and sitting around all cooped up. But the good news is there's some things that you can be doing in the meantime in order to kind of satiate the travel bug that I know hits us all the time and particularly hard right now. The first thing, and guys, this is really the most important thing, is to be paying attention to your local health authority. I know other people here in the United States, please listen to the CDC and what they have to say about different areas in the world, and if you should or should not be going there at the time being. There's a lot that can result in that. If you work a job, I know a lot of places, including my own work, have it that if you go out of the country, you have mandatory 14-day quarantine. So you need to be planning and prepping for that, along with what might be the best for you and your family. The good news is that it seems like a lot of news outlets say that international travel will be coming back soon, but you're going to have to decide based on the latest information when and if it's a good time to actually travel outside of the country, whether that be the United States or somewhere else in the world. So do pay attention to that, and make the right choice for you and your family moving forward as countries are starting to ease their guidelines just a little bit. Now, with that said, and you're considering that information, brings me to the number 2 thing that you need to know, right, in order to kill that travel bug, which would just be planning for future travel. I know that that sounds like it's really easy, and of course I should plan for future travel, but there might be some really good deals to get right now, right? Especially if you're going to be flying, there's a lot of really rock bottom fares that you could secure today for 6 months or further out from now, right? So that you're going to be paying the lowest fare possible. You can utilize sites like, my favorite thing is just to pull up Google Flights and look for different time spaces, week here, 2 weeks there, out into the future, and you can actually see from the airport you're flying out on to where you're looking to go to, what those prices might look like, and compare and contrast based on different weeks and different months of the year, right? Obviously, you'll take into account shoulder season maybe for those areas in general and what might be a little bit lower demand, and what might work for your family. You could find a really great price. If you don't enjoy doing things like that on your own, there's several sites that will just send you cool tips on great prices, every single day. Things like Next Vacay, it would be one example that you can subscribe to for like a really small fee, and tell them what airport you mostly fly out of and where you live, right? And so then they'll send you offers, just from around the local airports. So let's say that I'm living in San Antonio, I might get ones from San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, even Houston airports to say, hey, we searched for you and this flight fee is a lot lower, okay? Big piece though, beyond that, would be it's a great time to save money. There's no going out to the movie theaters right now, and it's very limited going out to eat to the restaurants. So it's a really great time to actually save money for your future travels. I know it sucks to put it back a little bit, but it's maybe the biggest benefit that you might see right now. You're going to be totally loaded, right, to do a ton of traveling in the future by basically being forced to save money at the time being. So that's a really cool kind of side effect that I'm looking at and looking forward to getting back out there to traveling a little bit. The number 3 way to squash that bug for me is going to be armchair traveling, right? I know that's kind of like the buzzword right now, but to me, all that means is maybe you do want to go to Japan, maybe you want to go to Germany or Canada or Mexico or Brazil. Who knows where you want to go. And you might have this preconceived notion of what places you might not like to go. So I'd recommend to you, right, actually really taking this extra time you have to do that extra bit of research, right? And also, check out some great other travel vlogs and travel blogs and, travel advices that you have online. You have all day, right? We're all in quarantine. And so this is a really enjoyable way I found to spend some of my time is learning a bit more about some other places in the world and why they might be really cool places to go. And also just seeing it, right? Just seeing these beautiful places and pictures, right? And 360 views and everything that we have going on right now. It squashes that bug just a little bit. I would say think back to the last time you were watching, I think it's HGTV, right? And you're looking at people trying to buy a home somewhere else in the world. And why is that entertaining? It's because you're getting to see that other place, in an in-depth, in detail look. And so it always gets me really amped up to travel as well, but at the same time, it's still cool to be having that level of experience, right, while we're in the quarantine. And so the fourth thing that you need to know in order to squash the travel bug would be, for me, to start traveling locally, right? I know it sounds a little bit basic, but the reality is that for most people right now, if you're going to do something, it's best to do it in your localized area. One, that's going to actually help your local economy, right? A lot of people that you're living nearby, folks that you work with, your neighbors, to go out and experience a little bit more of your local cuisine, or go and experience the new museums in your area, that you've never checked out before, right? Or go to the local park, right? Or the national park up the road. It might not seem like it, but no matter where you're at, there is some local tourism that you can definitely do. And I know that I'm going to be putting out some more videos now that it's a little bit more comfortable to go outside a little bit and businesses are opening back up here in my local area, about what there is to do localized. But you should really look at that yourself, because so much of our time, I think, we spend trying to build these big, robust trips, right? And so you can actually miss what's going on in your own backyard. So it's a really cool time while we're opening back up, right, as an economy, and we're slowly getting back out there. Before you make that full jump maybe to the international travel, right, is to take a look at your local travel here and see some stuff that might really blow you away. You had no idea was in your own backyard or localized area. So definitely check that out. And that might be, for me, the best tip on the entire list, because you're actually getting out there and doing something, right? So the number 5 thing on the list for me would be actually putting together all of your past travel photos, videos, right? All your stuff that you had. I know for myself, when I go somewhere, I try to take in excess even more video and more photos, you know what I mean, than I actually want to. Like, I really push myself, not just for the channel, right, but because I think it's cool. We're living in a new day and age. You kind of have a digital ghost, if you will, that sticks around. So it's pretty cool that you can actually take the time that you have to put all that stuff together. I know for me, I have some examples of that. Get some stuff printed out, maybe fill out a physical album. I think is really, really underrated, that you can flip through. We all think we have these digital albums on our phones, but just like that fireworks video that everybody always takes, when's the last time that you actually looked at any of it? So taking a look at it, maybe even deleting some of the bad ones to free up a little bit more space on your cameras, right, might be a good idea. But I think it's a great time, since you have the time to relive some of those past memories, and in reliving it, you'll have the memories to share with yourself, or maybe your loved ones that you're traveling with, right? That'll scratch a little bit of that bug as well. And so that leads me to the number 6 thing, which would be checking out some of these new options. I know we touched on it a little bit back with Armchair Traveling, right? But one of the coolest things that I've seen so far is what all the world's museums are doing around these virtual museums, that trips you can take, right? You can go to any of their personal websites, but literally some of the top hitters are doing it. The Louvre in France, right? The Van Gogh Museum in the Netherlands, the Met out of New York City. And you can actually take the virtual tour, which is, some of them are really incredible. I've checked a few out myself, right? Keep in mind, some of these museums are enormous, so you can go on and on and on. But it is a really cool way. One of my favorite things to do when I'm traveling is to check out the local museums in the area, right? Whether that be when I'm in New York and I'm checking out, places like the Met, right? When I'm in the Netherlands and I'm seeing something like the Van Gogh Museum, or, maybe your more localized museum. I always try to make it a point, right? Because especially in cities where it's not a huge giant museum that's going to have artwork from all around the world, a lot of times that localized museum will have a lot of the local culture. So be sure to check that out. That's been a really, really cool experience. I know it's kind of point number 3, but it was impactful to me enough that I went ahead and put it as point number 6, right? And so I think that that's going to help you scratch that bug quite a bit. And so the 7th and the last thing, guys, if none of that other stuff works for you, what is for me the number one thing about traveling? It's the food, right? It's cuisine. You know, I mean, you go all over the world and it's something that everyone is so prideful about is the local cuisine, right? And it's for me one of the most exciting things, right? Trying out the local coffee, you know, trying out the local food, going to those local hole-in-the-wall type restaurants and really searching them out. That's some of the best experiences that I've had when I've been traveling around the world. And so you can definitely do at home a food passport, right? Don't be underwhelmed by this, because trust me, it's going to be a ton of fun. Do it in the research portion, right? Figuring out what kind of food it is at the place you're wanting to go to. I know a big one for me, big goal in the upcoming year is trying to go to Japan, right? So you're going to see a video of me putting together the speed run ramen, right? So I've been doing it a few times and hopefully improving every single time. But it's pretty cool, right? Because when you read about food and you learn about it and you learn how to make food, you really learn about that place's culture, and that's a big part about what you're going to see there. No, what you're making isn't probably going to be anywhere around the stratosphere of the locals. I won't pretend that it would be, but I think that it's still a really cool thing that you can do, right, in order to make yourself feel like you're almost there, right? Or you're bringing that part of their culture into your own home. And so for me, that's really helped me to scratch that travel bug. And it's been a really cool, really good one for me. So that would be my number 7 thing that you should try. If none of these other ones work, give that one a shot, because it's gonna, I think, make a big difference. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun for you as well. So it's definitely a lot of fun for me, right? And enjoyable, and making me think about the travel I'm gonna have in the future. So we're not too far away, but I think that if you pay attention to some of these 7 on the list, that's really gonna help you out, right? And it's gonna help you to scratch that bug just a little bit. Bug won't go away, it's still going to be there in your ear, but it's going to help you do a little something to it along the way, and maybe even plan out a better future travel for yourself for some place that you didn't even foresee yourself going to, because someday we are going to get through this one. There will be the new normal, right? And we're going to get back to going around the world and supporting all those jobs around the world and checking out all those different cultures and continuing to enrich ourselves in our lives. So thank you so much for coming to check out the video, guys. Gonna try to get back into consistency on posting. I know it was a little bit weird when we went into lockdown. I was thinking, what kind of videos can I put out? So I'm gonna continue to try to put out innovative content for you that you're gonna wanna see, right? And hopefully helps you out a little bit along our little traveling journey together. So thank you for checking this one out. If you'd like to see another video, they should be popping up in the suggested box for you. So feel free to check out one of those. Subscribe to the channel, right, if you want to help me out, or just really to be a part of the journey, right? And so you can enjoy some of these videos together with me that I really enjoy putting together. Thanks. We'll see you in the next video, partners.